Boom. Welcome back to First Take. The Eagles have found their fifth offensive coordinator in 5 years, naming Sean Mannion the OC going forward. Mannion was an offensive assistant and quarterbacks coach the past 2 seasons for the Packers. He was an active player in the NFL for 9 years prior to that. Now, he's just 33 years old. He has never been a play caller, but the expectation is that he's going to bring the Eagles and their offense back to life. Do you like this hire, or do you think this was a mistake going with someone who doesn't have a lot of experience?
I don't think I'm itching as much as this guy is. You all right over there?
Are you good, S.A.? Go ahead. You go ahead, S.A.
First of all, congratulations to Sean Mannion, okay? Quarterbacks coach in Green Bay last year. Obviously assisted Jordan Love in having a decent season. I get it. I understand that part. And I'm not trying, I hate being this cynical, RC, this skeptical about a hire, because it's not because of anything pertaining to his capability. He's considered to be some rising star in the business. Fine, no problem. That makes perfect sense. I got that. But these are the Eagles we're talking about. So I want Sean Mannion to know, congratulations, wishing you nothing but the best. Everybody believes you're a rising star, and I hope it proves true. And thus far, you're doing your thing. Congratulations to you. It's not that he doesn't deserve this opportunity. The issue is not him. It's the Eagles. They have fired the last 2 people they've plucked from nowhere to be first-year offensive coordinators. You're looking at Brian Johnson in 2023, fired after his first season. Kellen Moore comes on board in 2024, helps them capture Super Bowl. He ends up getting the head coaching job in New Orleans, all right? Then you go back to that route, and Kevin Patullo is fired in his first season, okay? So 2 of your last 3 coordinators was guys you plucked from relative obscurity that didn't really have that much experience, if any at all, as offensive coordinators, and you brought them in, and look what happened. I'm like, if you're the Philadelphia Eagles, why would you do that? Why is that the way to go? Why couldn't you go and get somebody that's more experienced schematically, that's been around the league, that's seen so many things, that had offensive play calling responsibilities? Because Nick Sirianni ain't the greatest offensive play caller in the world. Yes, he takes over those duties from time to time, but he's basically been like a CEO, being deferential to his offensive coordinators. You need somebody a bit more experienced, simply because of the personnel that you have and the problems that you've had. Because, I don't want to use the word optics, but perception definitely matters. A guy comes in there, RC, and he's relatively inexperienced. The second things go awry, especially if you keep A.J. Brown there, it's going to be an immediate reason to be skeptical about how this season is going to go. And that's the kind of thing that caused the Eagles problems in the past. And I don't know why they would put themselves in a position for that to be a problem again. Again, it's nothing against Sean Mannion. I wish him nothing but the best. I mean, maybe he's going to be terrific, and all of this is null and void. But I'm just saying, based on the Eagles' history, if I'm Eagles fans, I've got a raised eyebrow on this move, and I'm pretty skeptical about it.
So here, I don't have a problem with Sean Mannion being hired, and I'll tell you why after I say Eagles fans and the organization should have a problem with it. Because why isn't this job more coveted by experienced offensive minds? Let's look at the hiring of Brian Johnson and Kevin Patullo. These were both individuals that were elevated from the staff of the Philadelphia Eagles. Sean Mannion is different. Here is why you look at Sean Mannion and say that he could help, he could work. Look at the progression of Malik Willis, who came from Tennessee, who was someone that was considered a bust, a quarterback people didn't think could be a starter. He's going to be one of the hotter free agents this year because of some of the things we watched with him. Now, you also have to realize that Coach Stoyanovich was the actual offensive coordinator there while Matt LaFleur called plays. So Sean Mannion will have to get some of the art and the science that is play calling. Now let's think about the Philadelphia Eagles and why you should be concerned. Shane Steichen was the offensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Chargers when you hired him. You saw how that worked. Your team goes to a Super Bowl. He goes off to Indianapolis. When you hire Kellen Moore, he had been the offensive coordinator in Dallas. He was the offensive coordinator in Los Angeles. You hire him, team goes to the Super Bowl, he gets a job. My issue is, why can't you now get those sort of people to have interest in your job? when you have a Super Bowl MVP, you have an all-pro wide receiver, you have a 1B wide receiver that's as good as any, and you have the offensive player of the year in Saquon Barkley with dogs on the offensive line. The issue now is the perception of this job ain't as good as everybody thought it was going to be. And to me, Stephen A., that's a bigger issue than Sean Mannion, because I do believe there's some foundation and principles there for him where he could be a good play caller.
I think we're saying the same thing two different ways, because I'm not pointing the finger at Sean Mannion at all. I'm saying it's because of the Eagles that you're worried about this hire. So what you just highlighted just basically accentuated my point.
Yeah, for sure.
There's just extra eyeballs on any coordinator position when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Old Oregon State quarterback who's been a backup in this league for many years, spent a year with the Packers last year as their quarterbacks coach, is now the offensive coordinator of a team that won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. I asked for this from the producers. Can we get a little Oregon State Sean Mannion footage? Just so you guys, this guy had a cannon in college and had an absolute blast with Brandon Cooks, the wide receiver. Mannion was his guy, had a really decorated career in the Pac-12, played for many teams in the NFL, primarily the Rams and the Vikings, finished with the Seahawks, and now is going to be the offensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles, one of the most microscopic jobs in the league where all eyes are on you. Bart Scott, your thoughts on a guy who has never called plays in the NFL and is fresh off the playing field?
I mean, that job will make you famous, either or infamous. You know, it all depends on how you look at it. He has tremendous opportunity with a lot of great weapons. Let's see what he learned in Green Bay with LaFleur and see if he can turn that into like a offense that can give a fresh look for a guy like Jalen Hurts. You know, Harry talked about putting him under center, being able to play with play action, being able to turn his back to the sidelines. But I think it's fractured there, and I wonder why so many veteran play callers did not decide to go there and take that job. When you, from the outside looking in, it looks like a tremendous opportunity. You go there 1 year, you help win a Super Bowl or be in a meaningful game, you get a head coaching job the following year. Some people said no, especially Brian Daboll.
The names were Daboll, Mike McDaniel was thrown around there. There were several, whatever it is, what was actually on the table was a situation where the last offensive coordinator had his house egged by the fans, and, obviously the offense didn't get going. What can Sean Mannion bring to this team to get them back on track?
I think the first thing is not having the offense be so stagnant. There are so many times when we watch Jalen Hurts in this offense and guys being spread out within this offense, and the defense basically knows what's coming or what they're going to run. You're going to see a lot more shifts, a lot more motions, the quarterback under center, in which that helps the quarterback out and the offense entirely, and Saquon Barkley, because there are a lot of things that can go on when the quarterback is under center. I had Matt Ryan on my show the other day, and he talked about when you're in the shotgun and you're in a pistol, the defense can pretty much have a T on some of the things that you're doing, and you can cut down on a lot of things that you have to prepare for when the quarterback is in the shotgun and the pistol versus being under center.
Your thoughts?
Is Jalen Hurts going to run the ball more? Because we blame the coordinators, and I understand that, but his design runs dropped off by about 40% this year, and he wants to preserve the body? Fine, understandable. But, if he's not running, can this offense get back to what it was when he was running?
It's a high